The next opponent was New Zealand at home. And if the winning streak continued, it would equal the feat of Warwick Armstrong's 1921 side for the most consecutive victories by an Australian team.
And when you look at the history of the game, that Australia were out to equal Australia's 80-year record of 8 Test victories. There's that, as well as Shane Warne wanting to surpass Dennis Lilly's Test record of 355. He was chasing the 356 as Australia were chasing their 8th consecutive Test victory, and that kept the boys in the terrace upbeat and always focused on the game, not knowing when it was going to be achieved. Always felt it would be, but just something significant, special about being there, knowing that 80 years of Australian Test cricket history has been rewritten.
Catch it! Yeah! And is that out? Does it come from the glove? Catch it! Gone.
We knew that was going to be a tough series, and we were aware that if we won the Test match, we'd equal the longest winning streak by an Australian side. So that was important for us to sort of play for. But the main factor for us was playing at Eden Park. It was probably a wicket that was always going to suit New Zealand a lot more than us. A slow turner. Their type of bowlers are hard to get away, and we knew that it was going to present a major challenge to win that first Test.
Oh. Catch it! Yeah! Gone. Beautifully bowled. Catch it!
And got him. So 5 wickets to Daniel Vettori, well bowled. His first 3 overs cost 25, and his next 22 overs, he took 5 wickets.
The New Zealand series was probably the toughest for the Australians. There were 3 Test matches in there, 2 of which Australia could easily have lost. That was when, apart from that Hobart Test match where Gilchrist and Langer did so well, was really the only time Australia were challenged, and challenged very seriously.
Good toss and put away. Magnificent stroke, and he's got it all the way too.
The only time Australia got bowled out twice in one Test match was in that series. Vettori took 12 wickets in a Test match over there.
Stumped. Vettori picks up his best ever Test figures, going past 6 for 64 as Miller departs for 8.
Australia were under the hammer a number of times, but the difference was, I think, that they'd had the Hobart experience, where they'd won a Test match they shouldn't, and when it got really tight and that hour of play had to be won by either side to dominate the game, Australia won it.
With New Zealand chasing 281 runs for victory, occasional team member Colin Miller took 5 wickets, while that man Warne chased a personal milestone.
And that is a huge blow for Warne as he equals Dennis Lilly and the most wickets for Australia.
I probably got a little bit anxious around that time. I've never really been a statistical person, but when everyone keeps telling me you need 5 wickets, you need 2 wickets, and you need 1 wicket, you're equal. It did build up on me, and I struggled with it a little bit. But I think once I broke that record, it was sort of a bit of a relief in a funny sort of a way. It might sound strange. It was a very proud moment, and I spoke to Dennis, and he faxed me, and he said he couldn't be happy. If he could pick anyone to do it, he was hoping it would be me.
In the air, a glove, it's out, and that's the record. So Shane Warne becomes Australia's highest Test wicket taker, and he does it to win the match for Australia and continue the 8-game winning streak. Standing ovation from the people here at Eden Park, and the champion leaves the field, Australia's highest ever Test wicket taker, 356 Test wickets.
We like to all be a part of history whenever we go and follow the game. Now, whether that be in Zimbabwe, in hindsight knowing that many were a part of history then, or in Auckland, or in the following game in Wellington. It's good to know, and as it has been when I've followed the cricket around the world to so many places, to go away and say, I was there, there's something special.
Down the wicket, good stroke. That has come all the way up, just under the commentary box. I've got to say that is massive.
At the picturesque Basin Reserve, Australia encountered a big hitter out of the Ian Botham mould.
Huge hit. 6 more.
Chris Cairns is a very exciting cricketer, and I'm probably one of the few Australians who would actually acknowledge that a New Zealand cricketer is a superstar. He is a darn good cricketer and great to watch because he can bowl and he can bat.
Oh, holy cow!
Watching him just put the ball over the terraces, you know, over the embankment and then out of the ground at one point, just a hook shot that he played, you know, that he just swiveled on the spot and over it went, and yeah, we just had to applaud.
That's a blue shot, and he's got away with that too. Front foot hook for 6. That's an amazing hit.
That was a great Test match innings. He's a player we've long thought of as being really talented but not quite fulfilling his potential. He certainly did it in this Test match and played a great innings against Shane Warne, who was bowling as well as I've seen him bowl for a number of years. He was almost unstoppable. I think he had Brett Lee for a couple of sixes off the back foot straight over his head. So, you know, he's an awesome player, this guy, when he gets in form, and hits the ball probably as well as Ian Botham.
All-rounder Chris Cairns clubbed his way to 109 in the first innings and then followed up with 3 wickets to have Australia struggling at 4 for 51.
And in the hands, did he get an edge onto the thigh pad? He's wrought.
But once again, Steve Waugh helped steady the ship
Strong hit.
with the help of the free-scoring Michael Slater.
You can't stop that.
And he's got some runs, and that's 100.
Yeah, come on.
Tucked away, that's it. That's his 22nd century.
Their partnership of 200 helped steer the tourists to a 120-run first innings lead, setting up a 6-wicket victory, the 9th in a row.
Who's going to hit the winning run? It's going to be Mark Waugh with a boundary. So he goes to 45 not out. Damien Martin 17, and there's the record to the Australian side. 9 consecutive Test victories. And what a happy bunch of cricketers they are, and why wouldn't they be? Beautifully bowled. And that's a big shout. And bowled.
Edge. And it's carried through.
This current team can not only scrape themselves to a draw, they can turn a match around. One that springs to mind immediately is in New Zealand. They were 5 for 29 in a Test match, and they ended up winning it. So they've even gone one further than what we tried to do, and that's produce draws when we were down. They can turn it right around on any opposition, and as I said, right across the park. It can be a batsman, it could be a bowler, or it could be an all-rounder type that pulls a special performance out when the team's hurting most, and that must be very hard for an opponent.
Turning the match was Damien Martin, unbeaten on 89, and his West Australian teammate Adam Gilchrist with a rapid 75. Together they pushed Australia past New Zealand's total.
That's a beautiful cricket shot.
Obviously there was a lot of talk about, you know, the most consecutive victories. I think we just achieved the most consecutive victories by an Australian side in the previous test, so spirits were high, and we really wanted to make it a clean sweep of that series.
Great stroke.
The batsmen certainly did their part during the streak. They gave the bowlers plenty of time. On a lot of occasions it was way too much time. The bowlers didn't need that long. But it's important in looking at the streak, the fact that the batsmen, not only did they score a lot of runs at times, but they scored them very quickly, and that was the important aspect of it.
And he's got the wicket.
Balls emerge, he's gone. Edge and gone.
In the air, and Gilchrist takes his 10th catch of the match.
The bowlers created a lot of chances, got a lot of edges, a lot of nicks, and I managed to hang on to 10 catches. So I have to say it's pretty much out of my control how many catches I get. It's probably more in the control of the bowlers, but as destiny would have it, I managed to hang on to 10.
Yeah, you saw in that Test match that all the guys got together, and it was a real team effort. And that's what we're looking for. I think that what makes us the #1 side is that, you know, we are a team and we share the workload.
Chasing 210 for victory, Justin Langer smashed the fastest 50 ever by an Australian Test batsman.
This could be it. Justin Langer knows it and jumps into the air. 7th Test century.
He went on to 122 not out, scored in 122 balls.
What a result for Australia. 10 consecutive test matches, and they will try and equal the world record set by the West Indies in 1984-85 when they confront the West Indies in Brisbane in November.